You're 7 years old. Your father is yelling at your mother in the kitchen. You hear every word like a blade cutting through you, and you learn, without realizing it, that to love is to bleed. He leaves, slamming the door. Your mother cries in silence. You walk over, hug her, and promise yourself, I'll never disappoint anyone. Right there, the wound that will haunt you forever is born. You grow up. The men change faces, but the script stays the same. He reaches out when he wants, disappears when it suits him, comes back when he needs something. And you accept it. Because some attention is better than none. You say you want a stable man, present, mature. But when he shows up, you feel nothing. No butterflies, no adrenaline. It even feels boring, too predictable. Then that complicated guy appears, the one who doesn't text back properly, who's cold, distant, who leaves you guessing. And suddenly, you feel something. Your body awakens, your heart races, you call it chemistry. But what if I told you this isn't love? What if it's just your body recognizing an old pain? What if you're not choosing broken men by accident, but because your soul is still trying to heal the wound your father left behind? This has a name. Carl Jung called it a father complex. It's not craziness. It's not weakness. It's a psychic wound that shapes how you love. When your father was absent, cold, unpredictable, or explosive, something inside you broke. It wasn't your fault. You were just a child trying to understand why he didn't stay, why he didn't see you, why he didn't choose you. And your young mind came to the only possible conclusion: I'm not enough. That belief went so deep, it became unconscious. You don't even remember when you started believing it, but it's there, operating backstage, choosing for you. It decides who attracts you, who excites you, who feels right, even when they're completely wrong. Jung discovered something terrifying. We don't choose partners for who they are. We choose them for what they represent. If your father was absent, you'll feel attracted to emotionally distant men because your psyche wants a second chance to fix that old pain. That's why stable men seem boring to you. They don't activate the wound. They don't trigger the internal alarm. Your nervous system was trained to associate love with struggle. Emotional peace doesn't feel like love. It feels empty. You're not addicted to broken men. You're addicted to the feeling of trying to be loved by someone who can't love you, because that's exactly what you lived with your father. And your soul still believes that if you succeed this time, the pain will stop. But it won't, because you're trying to heal the wounded child inside you through an adult man, and he will never fill that void. Because that void isn't his to fill. It's yours to heal. You repeat the pattern because your unconscious is screaming, "Look, it's him again!" And you run, hoping this time will be different. But it's not. It never is. Because you're not choosing a partner. You're choosing a ghost. Now you know. It's not about them. It never was. It's about the 7-year-old girl who's still waiting for her father to come back. And until you heal her, every man who enters your life will carry his face. You meet a new guy. He seems different. He says the right things, acts attentive at first. You think, this time will be different. But 3 weeks later, he disappears for 2 days. He comes back with a vague excuse, and you accept it because everyone has problems. That's where the cycle begins. He gives you just enough attention to keep you hooked, but never enough to make you feel secure. You live on a tightrope between he likes me and he's leaving. This instability doesn't scare you. It addicts you because it's exactly what you've known since childhood. Your body calls this home. When he's distant, you panic. You start reviewing every conversation, every text. What did I do wrong? Was I too intense? Should I have waited longer to respond? You blame yourself. You change your behavior. You try to be lighter, easier, more understanding. Anything to not lose him. But notice the pattern. You never ask yourself if he is good for you. You only ask if you are good enough for him. It's always you who needs to prove yourself. Always you who needs to adjust. Always you who's being tested. And him? He just exists, and you're grateful for it. When he finally gives you attention again, you feel a relief so great it feels like ecstasy. He sent a sweet message. He asked you out. He said he missed you. And suddenly, all the suffering was worth it. You feel chosen. You feel alive. But this isn't happiness. It's emotional dependency disguised as love. Jung would say you're not loving the man. You're loving the feeling of finally earning the love from the father who never saw you. Every time this man ignores you and comes back, you relive your childhood dynamic. Every time he makes you wait, you become that child again, sitting by the window, waiting for dad to come home. And when he arrives, even with crumbs, you call it victory. You repeat this cycle in every relationship. Different man, same dance. He pulls away, you chase. He comes back, you surrender. He disappears, you fall apart. And with each cycle, you lose a little more of yourself, because you keep learning that love is this, begging to be seen. But here's the truth no one told you. This pattern didn't start with these men. It started with you, in how you learned to love, in how you learned to value yourself. And until you change this inside yourself, it doesn't matter how many men come into your life. They'll all teach you the same painful lesson. You can't heal your wound through someone who's also wounded. If you've made it this far, it's because something in this message touched you deeply. Maybe you saw your own reflection in these words. Maybe you felt that tightness in your chest, that lump in your throat that says, "This is exactly what I'm living." This channel exists for you, for the woman who's tired of repeating the same mistakes, who wants to understand her pain and transform it into wisdom. Click the button right now and subscribe, because in the next videos, you'll discover not only the reason for your suffering, but the real path to get out of it. You wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is check your phone. Did he text? Your heart races as you swipe the screen. Nothing. Your stomach tightens. The day starts heavy before you even get out of bed. You try to focus on work, on school, on life, but your mind is stuck on him. This is the invisible cost of the pattern. You're no longer living. You're surviving and waiting. Your friends invite you out. You make excuses. "I'm tired. I have too much work." But the truth is different. You don't want to be busy in case he decides to call. You keep your schedule open, your life on pause, your heart available. And meanwhile, your friendships grow cold. Your dreams get smaller. Your entire life revolves around a man who barely knows you truly exist. Exhaustion starts taking over. You're always on alert, always analyzing signs, always trying to decode what he meant by that short message. Does okay mean he's angry? Does "we'll talk later" mean it's over? Your mind never rests. You sleep poorly. You wake up anxious. And throughout the entire day, you carry this weight in your chest that won't leave. This isn't love. It's emotional torture that you call passion. And there's something even worse, the emptiness. Even when he's present, you feel alone. Because you know, deep down you always knew, that he doesn't really see you. He doesn't ask how you are. He doesn't care about your fears, your dreams, your pain. He only shows up when he needs something, attention, validation, sex, and you give it. Because at least in that moment, you don't feel completely invisible. You start abandoning yourself. You stop doing the things you loved. You stop taking care of yourself the way you deserve. You accept less because you believe you deserve less. Your beauty standard changes. You only feel beautiful if he finds you beautiful. Your self-esteem depends on a text from him. Your peace depends on his mood. You handed over control of your emotional life to someone who doesn't even respect you. This pattern goes beyond relationships. It becomes identity. You start believing this is just who you are. I always choose wrong. I have bad luck in love. Men don't value me. You transform a wound into destiny. And the more you repeat this narrative, the more real it becomes. Because your subconscious mind doesn't question what you believe, it simply obeys. And if you believe you don't deserve healthy love, it will make sure you never find it. Loneliness stops being a temporary state. It becomes who you are. You feel alone in a crowd. Alone even when you're with him. Alone even with yourself. Because you lost connection with who you really are. You became an edited, molded, diminished version of yourself. A version you think he'll love. But he doesn't love it because he can't love. And you? You forgot how to love yourself. Here's the most painful point. You know you need to leave. You know this is destroying you. But every time you try, something pulls you back. It might be a text from him. It might be the memory of a good moment. It might just be the fear of being alone forever. And you go back. Not because he changed, but because you haven't yet healed the wound that makes you accept crumbs. And as long as that wound exists, you'll keep going back to him or to the next one just like him. Now you understand the pattern. You see the wound. You recognize the cycle. But understanding isn't enough. You need to act. And healing doesn't start by changing the men you choose. It starts by changing how you relate to yourself. There are 2 practical actions, supported by psychology, that can break this cycle once and for all. The first action is, stop seeking external validation and start reparenting yourself. Jung called this shadow integration, healing the wounded child within you. Every time you feel that urge to text him, to check if he saw you online, to beg for attention, pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what does the 7-year-old girl inside me need right now? Maybe she needs to hear that she's loved. Maybe she needs to know it wasn't her fault. Tell her that, out loud if necessary. Hug her mentally. Give her what your father didn't give, because you're the only one who can truly heal her. This isn't about empty affirmations. It's about reprogramming your nervous system. Every time you choose not to react to anxiety, not to chase crumbs, not to diminish yourself for attention, you're teaching your body that love doesn't need to hurt. You're creating new neural pathways. You're showing your subconscious mind that you're worthy of peace, not chaos. And gradually, unstable men will stop attracting you, because your body will no longer recognize them as home. The second action is, establish non-negotiable boundaries before you even meet someone. Behavioral psychology teaches that you attract what you tolerate. If you accept being treated as an option, that's what you'll receive. So before entering any relationship, write down for yourself, I don't accept men who disappear without explanation. I don't accept half-hearted conversations. I don't accept being contacted only at midnight. These boundaries aren't demands, they're protections. And it's not about being difficult, it's about having dignity. When you set these boundaries and maintain them, something powerful happens. You filter. Emotionally immature men leave quickly. They sense they can't manipulate you, that you won't beg, that you won't accept less. And this scares them. They disappear. And you're grateful. Because every no you say to the wrong one is a yes you're saving for the right one. At first, it will be difficult. You'll feel afraid of being alone. You'll question if you're being too rigid. You'll see him pulling away, and your instinct will scream, go after him, apologize, be more flexible. Don't obey. That's the old pattern trying to pull you back. That's the wounded child's fear. Breathe. Remember, temporary loneliness is better than permanent disrespect, and a man who truly loves you won't make you choose between your dignity and his presence. These 2 actions, reparenting the wounded child and establishing firm boundaries, aren't magic. They require conscious, daily, repeated effort. There will be days you'll fail, days you'll send that text, days you'll accept less. That's okay. Healing isn't linear, but every time you choose differently, you're one step closer to breaking the pattern. Every time you honor your boundaries, you're rebuilding your self-esteem. And every time you care for the child within you, you're freeing yourself from your father's ghost. Real healing happens when you stop waiting for a man to complete you and start becoming whole on your own. When you no longer need external validation to know you're enough. When you can be alone and not feel emptiness, but peace. That's the moment you become free. And ironically, it's also the moment you become ready for healthy love. Because true love doesn't fill holes. It finds someone whole and chooses to walk alongside. Hey, if you got distracted, come back here with me right now and pay attention to this, because this is the most important part of everything I'm going to tell you. Until now, we've talked about psychology, about wounds, about unconscious patterns, but there's a dimension that science doesn't fully explain, the spiritual purpose of your pain, because what looks like a curse might actually be a calling. God doesn't cause your suffering, but He uses every tear to shape you into who you need to become. And if you're living this painful pattern, maybe it's because He's trying to teach you something that only pain can reveal. The Bible says in Proverbs 4:23, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Guard your heart. Don't give it to just anyone. Don't let men who don't deserve you enter freely. God is asking you to protect what He placed inside you, your capacity to love, to trust, to surrender. And every time you choose the wrong man, you're casting pearls before swine. You're wasting the sacred on someone who doesn't know how to honor it. But God is merciful. He doesn't condemn you for your mistakes. He redirects you. Isaiah 43:18-19 says, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? God is doing something new in you. While you cry over the man who left you, He's preparing you for the love you can't even imagine you deserve. But you need to stop looking back. You need to let go of the ghost. You need to trust that what's coming is greater than what's gone. Maybe you grew up thinking you had to earn God's love, that you had to be perfect, obedient, flawless, the same way you tried to earn your father's attention. But God is not your earthly father. He doesn't disappear. He doesn't reject you. He doesn't ignore you when you need Him most. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." Stop trying to figure everything out alone. Stop trying to control, surrender, and trust that He's straightening what's crooked inside you. You know what the difference is between wounded human love and God's love? Human love demands. God's love restores. Human love abandons you when you fail. God's love holds you precisely when you fall. Jeremiah 29:11 promises, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." God has a plan for you, and that plan doesn't include you begging for crumbs, doesn't include you destroying yourself for someone who doesn't value you. His plan is prosperity, hope, future, but you need to let go of what's not part of that plan. Every time you choose the wrong man, you're telling God, "I know better than you." You're choosing the familiar over the divine, the comfortable over the correct, and God, with infinite patience, lets you learn, lets you feel the pain. Because sometimes only pain teaches us to stop seeking water in dry wells. Only pain teaches us that some doors God closes because what's on the other side will destroy you. And when you finally understand this, when you stop forcing, insisting, trying to fix what God has already judged as inadequate for you, that's when true healing begins. God isn't punishing you with loneliness. He's preparing you for companionship. He's cleaning your heart of past ghosts. He's teaching you to love yourself first, so that when the right one arrives, you won't need him to feel complete. You'll be complete in God. And then, love will be addition, not necessity. It will be choice, not desperation. It will be peace, not anxiety. This is the love God has for you, but you'll only recognize it when you stop accepting what doesn't come from Him. Faith can help you overcome this pain. Not a blind faith that ignores reality, but a conscious faith that looks at the wound and says, "God, I can't do this alone. I need you to heal me, to show me my worth, to teach me to choose better." And when you pray like this, with honesty, with vulnerability, with surrender, God acts. He begins to transform your pain into wisdom, your loneliness into strength, your despair into faith. And you realize loneliness can be overcome, not with another man, but with the only one who never abandons you. You made it here, and that already says a lot about you. It means you haven't given up on yourself, that you're willing to look at the wound, no matter how painful it is, that you want more than to repeat the past. You want to transform it. And that desire, that courage to face the truth, is the first step of your redemption. Because you don't change what you don't face, and you don't heal what you don't name. Now you understand. The pattern didn't start with the men you chose. It started with the child who learned that to love is to suffer. With the girl who saw her father leave and concluded she wasn't enough. That wound pursued you for years, made you accept less, made you beg for attention, made you believe that love was chaos, not peace. But today, you know the truth. And the truth, however hard, sets you free. Psychology showed you the why you repeat, why you're attracted to wounded men, why peace seems boring and drama seems like passion. Jung gave you the tools: reparent the wounded child, integrate the shadow, establish conscious boundaries. Now you're no longer in the dark, you have the map. And with that map, you can choose a different path. It won't be easy, but it will be possible. Spirituality showed you the what for. God didn't cause your pain, but He can use it to transform you. Every tear you cried, every sleepless night, every time you felt abandoned, none of it was in vain. God was there, silent but present, molding you, preparing you, teaching you that you don't need a man to be complete. You only need Him. and yourself. The loneliness you fear so much isn't a sentence. It's an opportunity, a chance for you to find yourself again, to rebuild your self-esteem away from the eyes of those who don't value you, to learn to be alone without feeling empty, because loneliness and emptiness are different things. Emptiness comes from internal abandonment. Loneliness is just the absence of external company. And when you heal the emptiness, when you fill the hole your father left, when you become your own source of love, loneliness stops being scary. It becomes freedom. And then something miraculous happens. You stop attracting broken men, not because you became someone else, but because you healed the part of you that recognized them as home. Emotionally unavailable men will still seek you out, but you'll notice in the first conversation. You'll feel the lack of depth, the absence of real presence. And instead of forcing yourself to feel something, you'll simply move on. No drama, no guilt, because you now know what you deserve, and you won't accept less. One day, someone different will appear, someone who doesn't disappear, who doesn't leave you guessing, who doesn't make you compete for attention. And at first, you'll find it strange. You'll think something's missing, that it's boring. But it's not. It's just that your body is still getting used to peace. Give it time. Allow yourself to feel security without confusing it with boredom. Allow yourself to be loved without having to fight for it. This is the love God prepared for you. But you'll only recognize it if you're healed enough not to sabotage it. I can change my destiny. That's the phrase you need to engrave in your heart. You're not a hostage to your past. You're not condemned to repeat the same mistakes forever. God gave you free will. Psychology gave you awareness. And now you have choice. Choose to heal. Choose to establish boundaries. Choose to honor your heart. Choose to wait for the love that honors you back. Your destiny isn't written in the stars. It's being written now with every decision you make. And this time, you'll choose differently. Because you're no longer that 7-year-old girl. You're the woman she became, and that woman deserves everything. If this message made sense to you, subscribe to our channel right now, because what you just discovered is only the beginning of your transformation. Here, you'll find more videos that will help you heal your wounds, understand your patterns, and build the healthy love you've always deserved. Don't let this clarity slip away. Hit that subscribe button and continue this healing journey with me. For you who made it to the end of this video, leave a comment right now saying, "I deserve true love." Declare it publicly, because when you put your intention into words, you're telling the universe and God that you're ready to receive. And I promise that everyone who comments is taking the first step toward attracting love that honors, respects, and stays. Your healing starts now.